Hi, welcome to AllCBTs. My name is David and I'm your English tutor for today. In today's video, I want to take you on the Lekki Headmaster. So today we want to do the full book review, chapter by chapter. And then towards the end, I will be asking you some ready number of questions with their answers from the review that I will be giving to you. Alright? Now, I'm giving you this full book review. This is the first video of 3 videos that we'll be doing. We are doing this video to give you an idea, a general overview of this literature. Because I know many of you will not have the patience to go through it word for word. So with this idea, or the questions we'll take afterwards, alongside other videos we'll be making, I'm sure that you'll be ready to pass this section in your English assessment for this year. So once you sit down and let's get into it. Alright, welcome back. Now, let's go into chapter 1, the transition. Now, this is the summary of that whole book that I've condensed into these 2 paragraphs. So I would read, I would note the notable points, and then you follow me, okay? You don't need to skip anything, just follow me so that you can grab every detail. The story opens by introducing us to Mala Tunde Amide. Okay, so this is the lead. This is the lead character, right? Protagonist. A seasoned educator whose life is defined by the 3 Ds. Okay, and that is what the discipline, dedication, and diligence. That's the way he lives. It's ruled by these 3 things. After years of service in less affluent areas, Tunde receives the surprising news of his posting as the headmaster of a government primary school in Lekki, which is where we got that name from, the Lekki Headmaster, which is the title of the book. This appointment is bittersweet, meaning he's happy about it, he's not happy about it, advantages and disadvantages. While it is seen as a promotion to a highbrow area, Tunde is wary of the moral decay often associated with wealth. The chapter describes his modest home on the mainland, contrasting it with the perceived glitter of Lekki, mainland versus island. Is a world of difference. We see today's morning routine, which reflects his punctuality. He wakes up very early, as you see in that book. He isn't a man of many words, doesn't talk too much, but his actions speak volumes. He reflects on his career, thinking of his former students and the integrity he tried to instill in them. His wife, so what is the name of his wife there? Sidikat, is the first to voice the excitement of the Lekki move, in quotes. Unlike Tunde, she sees this as an opportunity for social climbing, better clothes, better friends, and a chance to finally arrive. Arrive in quotes. So you see, we have arrived, meaning we have learned. Something has changed for the positive for us. Alright, let's move on to chapter 2. So this is just the overview, the summary of each of these chapters. We are still going to do another more comprehensive video, and then we're going to do the 3rd video, which will be 50 questions. We're going to take 50 questions from this Lekki Headmaster, from chapter 1 up until chapter the end, so that anywhere the questions wants to come from in your JAMB examination, you'll be able to catch it. Question 2, the arrival and the first impression. Arrival of who? Chapter 2 rather. Arrival of who? Tunde. Alright, so Tunde first day at the Lekki school is a sensory overload, meaning he's grabbing everything from his sensory organs. As he travels through the Lekki Expressway, the author describes the landscape of toll gates, luxury estates, and the overwhelming presence of SUVs. When he arrives at the school is beautiful, of course, well-painted walls and modern facilities, but Tunde's educator's eyes sees past the paint. He's looking at the paint and happy to be here, but as an educator, he's speaking little things that is happening in the school. He noticed teachers sitting under the trees, gossiping, instead of being in the classroom, and students roaming the hallways long after the bell had rung. They were supposed to be in session. He meets the school secretary and the assistant headmaster. The atmosphere is one of relaxed entitlement. We deserve to enjoy the good life, no stress. There is a sense that because the school is in a wealthy area, the rules don't apply as strictly. Today's first act is not a speech but a silent observation. He's observing everything. He walks the perimeter of the school, checking the toilets in the library. He finds the library locked and dusty. A metaphor for the state of learning in the school. The library should be busy. The library should be open because it's a school. It's supposed to be a reading facility, sort of. The staff is immediately suspicious of him. They were expecting a Lagos-style headmaster who will join their cliques, not a man from the mainland who looks like he wants to actually work. So co-staff and colleagues were expecting that they will bring another Lagos boy, city boy, not somebody who would come and change the course of events. Let's go to chapter 3. I hope you're enjoying this. The PTA power play. What's PTA? Parent Teachers Association. Now in this chapter, we are introduced to the external pressures on the school. Tunde attends his first Parent-Teacher Association meeting, and it is unlike any he has seen. The parents arrive in expensive cars, of course now they are rich people, and the meeting feels more like a corporate board meeting than a school gathering. The chairman of the PTA, a wealthy businessman, dominates the conversation. He suggests that the parents should subsidize his teachers' salaries in exchange for consideration regarding their children's grades and discipline. So, in other words, let's make our teachers happier so that they can give the students better grades, right? Tunde is horrified, meaning he's shocked. Like, what is that? He realizes that the parents essentially own the teachers. Of course, when it's Tunde's turn to speak, he doesn't thank the parents for their money. Instead, he speaks about the failing standard of reading and the lack of punctuality among the students. The students were coming late to school. The room goes cold. This is the first major conflict of the novel. There was a clash of ideas, a clash of stand. Tunde meets Chief Mrs. Olekoyi, a powerful parent who tries to befriend him, to be close to him, with a heavy envelope, a bribe, under the guise of welcome gifts. Tunde's polite but firm rejection sets the stage for the enmity he will face later. So he gets to the school, he's in the PTA meeting, and then begins to see the moral decadence. The parents are talking about how are you going to assist our students? How are you going to help us? And they're actually offering him money, okay? Saying we can assist, increase your salary, we can support, we know what the government is giving you is not enough, we can support, your salary. But Tunde had a good heart and a good conscience and wanted to work, so he wasn't going to take it. Next chapter, chapter 4, the ghost student mystery. In this chapter, this is about students who don't come to class, but the teachers keep marking their attendance. In this chapter, Tunde's transition from observation to investigation. He has started doing his work. As a man who believes in data and accuracy, he begins a headcount audit of the school. He notices a glaring discrepancy. That means difference. The number of students in the school versus the number of students on paper who were marked as students in attendance was glaring. That means was wide. The school official ledger claims there are 1,200 students. Can you see that? Enrolled, but its physical morning assemblies only show about 800. It says about, so not even up to 800. an estimate. This led him to uncover the ghost students. But who are ghost students? Students, like I explained earlier, that don't go to school but appear on the ledger, on the attendance sheet. Even their homework, their class assignments is done, but the student was never in school. Imagine that. In this scheme, senior staff members and some corrupt officials from the ministry create fake student profile to claim extra government funding for books, uniforms, and feeding. You can see that. Apart from the fact that there were students in schools who didn't come but had their attendance marked and ticked, some staff in the school are in collaboration with government officials created names for fake ghost students, using it to extort money and fundings from the government. Tunde spent late night in his office, a detail that earns him the nickname the Night Owl. Among these two security guards, he discovered that the person in charge of this record, Mr. Okoro, had been hiding the primary register. When Tunde finally corners him, Okoro attempts to laugh it off as the Lagos way of survival, suggesting that Tunde should take his share of the diverted funds. Tunde's refusal is not just vocal, it begins a formal report to the district office. This chapter is vital because it moves Tunde from a strict teacher to a whistleblower, putting his career and safety at risk. Yes, because he could be killed, he could be assassinated, he could be waylaid. He had come to cause a total and complete disrupt in the school academic system. Next chapter, family pressure and syndicate ambition. Remember syndicate, his wife. The conflict shifts from the school to Tunde's home. This chapter focuses on syndicate, Tunde's wife, and her struggle to fit into the Lekki circle. Remember, syndicate was not a city girl. She was from the mainland. She had joined a group of women known as the Lekki Shining Stars, a social club for wives of influential men in the area. To remain a member, she feels pressured to contribute huge sums of money for parties and uniform outfits, popularly called Ashwebi, which is true in all these erudite societies. When Tunde returns home exhausted from fighting corruption, he is met with syndicate demand for a new car and more expensive jewelries. She argues that his position as the Lekki Headmaster should be making them rich. Yes. You are the headmaster, you are the principal of a school in Lekki with 1,200 students in quote. You should be rich now. She mentions how the previous headmaster's wife lived in luxury. This creates a man in the middle crisis for Tunde. He realizes that the corruption he fights at work is fueled by the same greed he now sees in his own living room, in his own house. The chapter ends with a heated argument where Tunde reminds his wife that his name is worth more than gold. Wow. This chapter is key for students to understand the theme of materialism versus integrity. Materialism, integrity. Many times they can't work together, they can't go together. If you will be a material person, you will lose some of your integrity. Yeah. Chapter next now, the confrontation and the threat. Threat was gonna come because someone who is making all these changes, they're not gonna watch him just have a free day. Tunde's report on the ghost students finally reaches the Ministry of Education. But the reaction is not what he expected. Instead of being praised, he is visited by a powerful delegation led by Chief Alaba, a man with deep political connections. In a tense meeting in the headmaster office, Alaba doesn't offer a bribe this time, he offers a threat. Alaba didn't offer bribe like NECO did. He came to threaten him. He explained that the ghost students' money supports many people above. You know what that means? That many people above are getting stuff from it. are being watered by it, so you should not touch it. Tunde, above Tunde, and that he is disturbing the peace of the water. You know what it means, disturbing the peace of the water? When you disturb the peace of the water, then you
Get the cheapest science materials from allschoollabs.com.
fishes begin to scamper. Tunde is told that if he doesn't withdraw this report, he will be transferred to a remote village where there is no electricity or road. Tunde's response is the emotional peak of the book. He stands up and offers his resignation letter instead of his silence. So Tunde stands up to his resignation and I will not do it. If you know that you will not go my way, then go the highway. But I will not go that way. He tells them, you can move my body to a village, but you cannot move my conscience. Wow. Shocked by his fearlessness, the delegation leaves. This chapter introduced the theme of political interference in education. Tunde realizes that the Lekki Headmaster title is a golden cage and he must decide if he is a prisoner or a leader. Amazing, amazing. Let's continue. Now, chapter 7, inspection, hostile type. The ministry, unable to scare Tunde into silence, sent a special task force for a surprise inspection. Unlike a normal audit, this is a witch hunt. You know what a witch hunt is? We are looking for bad. We just want to spot bad stuff. Okay? We are looking for the negative things. Designed to find any small mistake Tunde has made so they can fire him. You understand? The inspectors, led by the cold and calculative Mrs. Songwo, arrived at 7:30 a.m., hoping to find Tunde late. To their shock, he's already at the gate, clocking in teachers. Yes, Mrs. Songwo was the leader of the inspection group that came, inspection group that was sent to implicate Headmaster Tunde. Alright? But to her shock, she met him in the school already by 7:30. Wow, amazing. The inspection is grueling. That means they are drilling every area. They check every receipt, every lesson note, and even the cleanness of the students' fingernails. Can you imagine? Wanting to put it on him, the headmaster. Mrs. Songwo focuses on the school internal revenue generation, IRG, accusing Tunde of mismanaging the petty cash. However, because Tunde keeps a meticulous blue ledger, you see that now that's where this popular word blue ledger comes from. His personal record of every kobo spent, he is able to account for every naira. The highlight of the chapter is when the inspector tried to interview students to get them to complain about Tunde. Instead, the students speak of how the toilet now work and how they finally have textbooks. Previously, they didn't have. The other headmaster collected those funds for the student, collected the materials from the student, maybe sold it or spent it. Mrs. Songwo leaves, she's frustrated. Tunde's perfection is his greatest defense. Amazing. This chapter emphasizes the theme of transparency. That you should live a transparent life because you are being watched. Chapter 8, the health crisis and the redemption. A sudden outbreak of a waterborne illness, cholera, or a similar stomach flu hits the Lekki community, and the schools are the center of this health issue. Because students had previously used school funds, the same funds the good students wanted to steal to repair the school borehole and water treatment plant, the school becomes the only safe haven in the area. Right? During the crisis, the wealthy parents who once looked down on Tunde now flock to the school for help. Tunde turns the school hall into a temporary clinic. Even Chief Halaba's grandson is among those treated with the clean water and first aid supply. Tunde had insisted on stocking. This is the turning point for public opinion. The parents realized that Tunde wasn't being difficult for the sake of it. His strictness saved their children's life. Even Syndicate, his wife, seeing the respect her husband now commands from the big men of Lekki, begin to feel a different kind of pride, one based on his honor rather than in his pockets. Amazing. So the time came, there was a disease outbreak that hit the environment, the area. But because good sanitation, good water system had been set up in the Lekki school, the neighboring town, the city, had to get relief. They were able to get relief from the school, which gave honor and prestige to the headmaster, Sunday. The award and the choice. Word of Tunde's handling of the school and the health crisis reaches the governor. Instead of being transferred to a remote village, Tunde is nominated for the State Merit Award. Wow, that's a big one. For excellence in public service. The ministry officials who once strengthened him now pretend to be his biggest supporters. At a grand ceremony in Ikeja, Tunde is presented with a plaque and a cash prize. The climax of the chapter isn't the award itself, but what happens afterwards. Tunde is offered a promotion to become director at the ministry. A desk job with a huge salary and a chauffeur. However, Tunde looks at his students and realizes his work isn't done. He politely declines the promotion, choosing to remain the Lekki Headmaster. He realizes that real change happens in the classroom, not in a fancy office. This chapter solidifies the theme of selflessness. He chooses the chalkboard over the swivel chair. Sidikat finally accepts this, realizing that being the wife of a great man is better than being the wife of a rich man. Beautiful. So, his selflessness, his dignity, his discipline was soon realized by the governor himself, who nominated him and gave to him the award of what? Excellence in public service. Amazing. And also gave him a promotion to a big job as the director. That's a big one. But Tunde declined, saying he still had a lot to do for the school. The legacy of the check. The final chapter serves as a reflection on the Tunde's Ayinde era. The Lekki school. The atmosphere had completely shifted. Punctuality is now the culture, and the good student racket is a distant, shameful memory. Tunde is seen walking through the school garden, which he helped the student plant. This garden symbolizes growth and the fruit of honest labor. This story ends with a full circle moment. A new teacher is posted to the school, appearing just as nervous and unsure as Tunde was in chapter 1. Tunde welcomes him, not with a list of rules, but with a single piece of chalk. He tells the new teacher, "This chalk is your scepter. Use it to build a kingdom of knowledge, not a fortress of greed." See that. The final scene shows Tunde and Sidikat sitting on their porch. They aren't in a mansion, but their home is filled with letters of gratitude from former students. Sidikat is seen reading one of these letters, finally at peace with their life. The novel concludes with the message that while Lekki is a place of high walls and big gates, the most important gate Tunde guarded was the gate of truth. The Lekki Headmaster is no longer just a job title, it has become a standard for excellence across the states. Amazing. I hope you enjoyed this novel. Remember, we're still going to take a more detailed excerpt for each chapter. Then we're going to analyze enough questions for each chapter, chapter by chapter, as we prepare ourselves for this oncoming JAMB exam. You will not feel it after you watch all these videos. Never, not on my watch. Let's continue. Now let's go to classwork. I'm going to give you these questions, and then we're going to take the answers together. What was the specific color of the ledger Tunde used to defeat Mrs. Songwo's audit? We saw it. That was in about chapter 8 or chapter 7, where he kept that ledger of all the kobo, the detail of every money he spent from the school purse. Okay, we'll get into that. I'll answer that now. Which physical ailment threatens the Lekki community in chapter 8? What was the ailment that threatened the community that made everybody come to the school to seek for help? True or false? Did Tunde accept the promotion to become a director at the ministry? Yeah, we saw that in chapter 9. What was the name of the social club syndicate joined? Remember syndicate, wife of Tunde. What's the name of the club she joined? How many ghost students did Tunde discover were being used to siphon money from the school? Ghost students who were not part of the school or who didn't show up to school but were in the school register. What nickname did the security guard give Tunde because of his late night work? We saw that now. We saw that earlier. Who was the leader of the witch hunt inspector team? Mrs. What? Remember her? She was checking all the books, going to check the toilet, checking the children's fingernails. This woman, the leader of the witch hunt, just to make sure that they find some things, one or two, to handcuff Tunde, but she wasn't successful. What specific act changed Chief Alaba's mind about Tunde? We also saw that, in fact, we saw that his son became a beneficiary of the social infrastructure that Tunde had erected in the school after scrapping the ghost student racketeer. Alright, now let's see some of the answers to these questions. What was the specific color of the ledger Tunde used to defeat Mrs. Sonwo's audit? The answer is blue. We saw it. Which physical ailment threatened the Lekki community in chapter 8? Waterborne diseases or cholera. True or false? Did Tunde accept the promotion to become a director? False. He chose to remain in the school and remained with the school. What was the name of the social club syndicate joined? Lekki Shining Star. The ones that always ask for assurity money. How many ghost students did Tunde discover were being used to collect money? 400. Estimate of 400. What nickname did the security guy give Tunde because of his late night work? A night owl. Night owl. Owl is a bird that flies at night, right? Works at night, active at night. Who was the leader of the witch hunt? We saw that a lot. What specific act changed Chief Alaba's mind about Tunde? Tunde's provision of clean water that saved Alaba's grandson. Alright. So, and with that we come to the end of today's beautiful class. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And then, if you have any question, that we've not treated yet, please make sure you use the comment section so that we can relate together. Also remember that I said we'll be making a part 2 of this. Then we'll now make a comprehensive video of at least 50 questions and answers that we can find that can be extracted by JAMB.
Run quick tests and analysis. Visit analysis.africa.
From this Lekki Headmaster literature and how you are to answer them correctly. Now, if you are yet to be subscribed to the channel, make sure you smash the subscribe button so that when we release those videos, YouTube will notify you and you can come to watch for free. Also practice these questions on our apps. You can find the link to download them in the comment section. I will see you in another video. Bye. Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the video you just watched. To see more content as that, prepare you for your upcoming exam, make sure to smash the subscribe button and turn on notification. Also, remember that you can use the comment section to send us your questions or your inquiries, and we are happy to take them. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.